Hey guys, we're Double J Barbecue. I'm Jerry.
I'm Jimmy.
And we're going with another video. What are we making today, bud?
What we're going to do today is, if you go to any tavern, any bar in this area, they always have a thing called a crab pretzel. What it basically is they take a soft pretzel, they put a crab dip on top of it. We're going to give it a try today.
That's where we're headed. So give us a few seconds. We'll get some ingredients put together here, show you what's going to go in this. We'll get the dough made, and we'll take it from there.
Alright guys, for the pretzel, what we're going to need is a little bit of flour. We don't have that here. We need a little bit of milk, a cup of milk. We're going to use a little bit of baking soda. We're going to use some of this yeast. We got some soft butter. And we're also going to use a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. For the dip, what we're going to do is we obviously got the crab meat. We got some sharp cheddar. We got some softened cream cheese. We're going to use a little bit of hot sauce, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of Hellmann's mayonnaise. We got some Parmesan cheese back there. And we're going to use some juice of a lemon. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves together. We're going to start this dough up, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. To get this pretzel started, what we're going to do is we took a cup of milk. We warmed it up to 110 degrees. We're going to add to that 2 tablespoons of sugar, and we're going to add, this is 2 teaspoons of yeast in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that whole package in there. We'll stir this up a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to let this thing sit here for about 10 minutes and let this yeast do what it does. Now I got this recipe for this pretzel, which I never made pretzels until the other day, from Crouton Crackerjack, and it really worked out well. And I wanted to thank him for letting us use his recipe in this crab dip we're making today. So we'll be right back with you. Alright guys, we're back here now. This yeast is doing its job. It's got all foamy in there, so we're happy with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a half a teaspoon of salt, throw that in there. I had melted 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to throw that right in there. And I got about 2 1/4 cups of flour over here. What we're going to do is we're going to put about half of that in here. And we're going to start mixing this up. We're going to mix this up till we get a little consistency here. Get it all mixed in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of that in there. We'll leave a little bit of here so we can have some for the cut board. We'll mix that up in there. And once we get to this point, we're going to get that off the spoon the best we can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our hands in here and we're going to start kneading this a little bit, and we're going to get all that stuff off the sides here. Get all of it off the sides here, and we're doing good here. This is a wet dough, so it's right where we want it to be. What we're going to do is we're going to take this out, get this to the side, throw this flour on the cutting board here, and we're going to keep kneading this. We're going to knead this for about 2 minutes, get everything incorporated. And if you keep this moving, it won't stick to your fingers like I let it do. But we're okay. Alright, so we're going to let it sit there for a minute, and we'll be right back in a second. Alright, the dough's right where we want it. What I've done with this bowl is I put a little olive oil at the bottom of there. What I'm going to do is just move this around a little bit in there. We're going to let that sit in there. What we're going to do is we're going to cover this with a wet cloth. And we're gonna let this sit for about an hour. And let it double in size, whichever comes first. So, but it took about an hour the other night, so we'll put that to the side. We'll be right back with you in a second, show you how we're gonna do this crab dip. All right, to make this dip up, what we're gonna do is we got a pound of crab meat here. We're gonna put that in this bowl here. Don't wanna waste none of that. All right, then what we did is I had that cheese, I shredded that up. It's 8 ounces of cheese, we're gonna put that right in there. Alrighty, we got this block of cream cheese that's been softened. We're gonna put that right in there. We're gonna add a little bit of mayonnaise to this. Maybe about a quarter cup. We got some frog bone hot sauce. We add a couple dashes of that. We got a little Worcestershire sauce. Add just a little bit of that. Add the juice of a lemon. And we'll mix this up. And we just want to mix this gently. We don't want to mess this crab meat up too much. We just want to get all this incorporated in here. And that cream cheese is good. And then once this is all mixed up, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back for a second here. Important part of this pretzel making is I've taken about 2 cups of water. I've heated it up to, it didn't boil, but right to about it boils. I got a tablespoon and a half of baking soda in here. We're gonna throw that in there and we're gonna mix that up thoroughly. What we're gonna do with this is after we roll out the pretzels, we're gonna stick it in here for about 10 seconds, 20 seconds at the most. And this is gonna give you the texture and the flavor on your pretzel.
It's gonna help the top of that pretzel brown up nicely.
So, very important that you do this if you make these pretzels. We'll be right back in a minute, bud. Alright guys, we're back. The doughs came up to where we want it to be. What we're going to do is we're going to take this dough, we're going to cut it into 6 different parts. We'll just cut it in half. And it doesn't have to be equal. It just doesn't have to be equal. You want it to have a little play in it like it has. It looks good. We'll cut it into like that. Like that. What we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to start rolling it out. We want to get into about a 30-inch log. And keep it as even as we can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to us. We'll make a horseshoe. We'll bend it again. Come up here like this, pinch it together. Then we're going to go into this solution over here, the baking soda and the water. We're going to leave it in there for a couple minutes. About 20 seconds. We'll come back in there. We're going to pull it out. We're going to stick it on our pan over here, which we have, it's greased very well. And then on top of that, we're going to hit it with some Old Bay.
Speaking of Old Bay, let's rewind a little bit. We left out the fact that we're putting Old Bay, we put Old Bay in the crab dip that we're putting on top of these, so we skipped that part, but we put it in there.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of these, and then when we come back, we'll be putting the crab dip on there, and then we're gonna throw it in the oven. All right, guys, we got these pretzels rolled out. I'm not the expert pretzel maker, but this is what we got. We've added Old Bay to them. What we're going to do is we're going to put them in a 450-degree oven. We're going to leave them in there probably for about 6 minutes. We're going to pull them out, add the crab dip, and then put them back in and let the cheese melt on the crab dip. And we'll be back to show you adding the dip to it. All right, guys, we got these pretzels almost done where we want them. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of this crab dip, and we're just going to top it on there. And we're going to get we want to make sure we get some crab, a good amount of crab dip on there. After we do that, we're going to add some of this Parmesan cheese here.
Liking this.
And then we'll just hit it with a little more Old Bay. All right, we're going to do that with the rest of our pretzels. And we're going to put it back in the oven, and we'll be back to show you what they look like. All right, guys, we've let this cook all together about 12 minutes. The cheese is all gooeyed up now. It looks delicious. All that's left is to do to try it.
I can't wait. Let's do it. What is there not to like about that? Forget about it.
Guys, if you come to Maryland, you're going to have one of these in a bar somewhere, but you can make this. It's easy to make. This is delicious. The pretzel is awesome. We'd like to thank again Crouton Crackerjack for allowing us to use his recipe. This turned out awesome. This is just delicious.
Crab meat, pretzel, you can't beat it. We've said it 100 times. We've got the Chesapeake Bay literally in our backyards, and we're from Maryland. We love to eat seafood, so give this recipe a try, guys. Let us know what you think. These things are phenomenal. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you haven't yet, click subscribe, and we'll be back on the next video. You got anything else, buddy?
Guys, we'll see you next time.